Welcome, everybody. My name is Kattis Gullberg, sitting in my beautiful sofa here in Sweden, getting colder. I just remind everybody to close your microphone so we don't disturb Jason when he's concentrating on giving us all this good information. Jason Burden is an Englishman living in Sweden. I've known him for 15 years. He has been in this industry around 20 years, so he has a lot of knowledge, and he will go now through this getting started meeting. So welcome everybody. Let's go, Jason.
Wow, thanks very much, Kattis. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the brand new people. If this is your first time here, you're obviously here to gather a little bit more information and try to understand your next 30 days. Well, of course, I'm going to bring something up which is not normally said, but it's very important to talk about, that we are sort of in the middle of, or not us, but AI marketing is in the middle of doing some very important updates. And it's really important that AI marketing are doing these updates for us, okay? But unfortunately, they did come across a technical problem with the payment systems. It doesn't mean that people aren't going to get paid, but we have to understand there's 4 million accounts, there's 300,000 transactions of money every single day with AI marketing, and it's not done manually, okay? They would have to have an extremely large team to start pressing buttons with that amount of transactions. So the AI team, from what I hear from the top leaders, everybody there is working their backsides off to get everything back up and running for us as fast as possible. Okay, so some people do worry, and that is perfectly fine. We understand people get worried, but they don't. I'm pretty sure that you do not need to. The way I look at this is I talk to the top leaders, and if these guys aren't worried, we shouldn't be worried. Okay, AI marketing is doing a great job behind the scenes to get everything ready for us so we can continue to build these really profitable teams. Okay, but here today, you're here to talk. We're going to talk to you about money working for you. This is an education system that I put together. 2 years ago, I wanted to start putting my knowledge online. I have a background in multi-level marketing of 20 years, but it was the first time I decided to take my knowledge from, instead of doing meetings in coffee shops one-on-one, I wanted to try and get everything online so it could make my life easier, first of all, and then I could also duplicate it to help other people. Okay, and a group of people, I think we're around 1,000 members right now just in Money Working For You, that's with the AI marketing business. And I know Kattis said it was cold in Sweden, but I tell you something, this team is on fire. Okay, I've never seen anything like it. You guys are awesome. You're doing a brilliant job. And if you're brand new here today, you are joining one of the hottest teams in the world right now. It's incredible what's going on. So just because AI marketing is going through a few technical issues, which they are working hard to do, I do not want any single one of you to lose focus on your goals, okay? Because you can still continue. But this week we have decided to put webinars on every single night this week, or up until Thursday. I'm going to let you have Friday off, unless you want to have a Friday Zoom. You can tell me, I don't mind. But we're going to have tonight, we've got the getting started. Tomorrow it's Kattis and I. We are going to be doing a Zoom meeting tomorrow, which is all to do with list building and prospecting. Okay, and then on Wednesday we've got something called the dream meeting, and then on Thursday we will have another getting started, so you have the chance to invite the other new people that you've invited between now and then. So let's get you started. Okay, so first of all, you need to decide what you want, and this also goes for if you're talking to a prospect as well. You should always ask, what do you want? What do you want from this business? Because if you don't ask the question, you're going to give them the wrong information. Okay, if you go into the hairdressers and you want a certain style, if that hairdresser doesn't ask you, you're going to be horrified with the result. Okay, it's really important to ask people what would I've shown you the plan, what do you want? Okay, some people will say, well, I want to be passive. Okay, I just want to put some money in my robot and let it run. That's all you need to do with them. Okay, and all they need to do is register and fund the robot and let it get into action. Some people will say, no, I want to build a team. It looks fun what you guys are doing. I just want to get involved and I want to learn everything I need to learn to start building a team. Okay, but to build a team, there are certain steps or certain habits and certain things that you're going to need to learn on the way, because when you're building a team, you have to remember that you're working with people, okay? And every person on the planet is a different personality. So there's certain things that you need to learn along the way. Also, you may find some people, but when you first show them the plan, they can't really make a decision between these two things. Well, you know, I would like a bit more information. What I highly recommend is that you actually send them an invite to Money Working For You Facebook group, because in the announcements page, there's actually 3 more films that they can start watching, which will help them come up to a more comfortable decision for themselves. And they would also get to see the team that's working. We post things in there. You're allowed to post things in there as long as it's to do with, you know, motivation and you know, talking about your business, that sort of thing. It's really important as well, if you're posting things in there, you're not promoting your own AI marketing business. Okay, what I always write at the end of the post, I say, get back to the person who invited you. Okay, don't ever write, you know, get back to me, because you're using the group in the wrong way. Okay, so if you're an investor, you know, you can have one robot working, that's okay. But the way I see it is, if you have a few more robots working and using that PDF that we have, you can actually have as many of these robots as you want. If you're an investor, you can end up with, you know, some people, they come in and they set up 10 accounts. Okay, I've seen it. They just come in, they set 10 accounts up, and then they just get into action by putting some money in. That's all they ever want to do. But when these guys are registered, they are joining a team of business builders like us. So it's really important you ask them for their referral link, because they are becoming part of a team which is being built right now. And if we have the last referral link at the deepest point, we can put it into the team chat, which I will explain in a minute. And then the team can use that referral link to register people underneath them. Okay. Decide how much money you want to invest. Personally, I always say to every single person I meet that, so if they say to me, Jason, I'm interested in putting some money in, I will always tell you right away, okay, that every type of business is a risk. Okay, it doesn't matter, even if you were going to open a pizza restaurant, or for example, you go to the bank, you borrow some money, there's no guarantee people are going to eat your pizza. And every single business is a risk. Okay, we have to understand that right from the beginning. But, you know, you should, what I always say to people, you know, you should only invest what you can afford to lose. You know, I don't want you to go out and get great big bank loans and throw loads of money in, and then things go wrong 6-7 years time from now. You just start with a sensible amount of money which works for you. And that's all I did. When I first registered with AI Marketing, I decided to put $150 in, and that was it. That's all I've ever put in. Okay, but it grows like crazy, I can promise you. But you decide, you know, sometimes you will find, if you're in certain countries, you know, $200 is easy to find. Most people can find $200. But I do know that there's a lot of countries, and I'm sure you know as well, there's a lot of countries, if you said it costs $200 to start, that's like saying, you know, climb Mount Everest in your flip-flops. Okay, so we have another PDF here which teaches people that they can start at a lower budget but still be on the same train. Okay, they can start investing, so they can still be on the journey. They can still be educating, they can still have their robots starting to become active. Yes, it's a longer journey for them, but they don't need to miss out. Okay, so we have to give options for people wherever they are. Begin with the end in mind. That's what I really recommend. You know, if you are wanting to build a business that pays you a certain amount of money, you know, think about how much money do you actually want to have in your bank account by a certain amount of time. So maybe it's like you could say, well, by 6 months time from now, I want to replace my salary. Okay, but then I highly recommend you get around someone that knows what they're doing in this business. You need to go upline. Don't talk to the person that registered you last night that's never done it before. You need to get around people like Robert. You need to get around people like Katis, Annika, Jürgen, Kerry. They're all big leaders. Okay, there's a big list of them. You need to ask these guys about, how do I earn that bigger amount of money? All right, and then how do we do it in that certain amount of time? Because if we know you've got a 6-month period, we can go all the way back to today, and we can help you set goals for every single month so you can be free in your goal. So begin with the end in mind. So the first steps you're going to do, you know, when you're going to get started, the first thing you need to do, you need to join our WhatsApp group. Our WhatsApp group is designed just for prospects. It's not designed so you can come in and have all your questions answered. Okay, we answer all your questions privately because all of your questions are different from person to person. So we don't bombard the chat with lots of questions. We keep it very simple because, well, here's the question. What do you want your prospects to see? Do you want them to see lots and lots of questions, or do you want them to see motivation, people posting their results, people excited about the future? Because that's the environment we want our prospects to enter into, so they remain excited and then they can begin their journey. The next step, once you've funded your robot, we will give you an app. It's just a link and it's called Money Working For You app. And once you're in there, you can just scroll down and then there is a URL there where it will take you to all the education, not just for AI marketing, but how we build networks successfully and how we use our system. I highly recommend you watch all of the films. And I sort of recommend, this is the way I was taught. I was taught to do things in a repetition way, because I know that the human being cannot take in all the information by watching it just one time. You know, for example, you know, if you hear a song on the radio for the first time and it sounds awful, doesn't it? And then you hear it again and again and again. And by 1 week's time, you can sing it in the shower with no music. That's called repetition listening. And it's the same thing with repetition education. You need to watch the films many times. There are papers in there in Money Working For You where you need to print them off, fill in the papers. And I recommend you do it with your active upline, which is probably over the Executive Pro Leader level. All right. And I will explain what the Executive Pro Leader level is a little bit later. You have a name list. Everybody has a name list. And I can imagine that if you've got one of these devices, a phone, you've got probably 100 names on there of people you know. Do not make the mistake by thinking, well, that person will be interested, that person will be interested. You need to write every single person down on your name list. And then you should contact your upline and then go through the name list together, because we're going to ask you questions about these people's ambition level. We are looking for ambitious people. We're looking for professionals. We're looking for couples, and we're looking for respected types of people. And these are the people we want to show the business to first, because the rest of the other ones, they follow later anyway. So really take your time to write down your name list, and to make it stronger, you can actually think about how many people know me instead of thinking about, well, who do I know? Because I can guarantee there's a lot more people that know you, but you've just forgotten who they are. Okay. We will set a goal with you. Our first major goal is called Pro Leader. Okay. And you can do this in 2 ways, because first of all, you register and you will become part of a team. Okay, that will be the first part, and you will load up your robot. Sometimes your upline, actually most of the time, your upline should give you an option that you could register 3 more accounts at the top of your teams if you want to. It's not a must. You can if you want to, but some people don't. Okay, they just want their one account, and then they start sponsoring their friends here and their friends here and their friends here, and that is perfectly okay. All right, but for me, what I did when I registered here, and I started 10 accounts. Okay, because at first I wasn't even planning on building the business. I thought, well, if I could have 10 robots working, I don't need to even show it to anyone. But then I suddenly realized that this was a great opportunity, so why should I be selfish? Okay, so you set a goal for this pro leader. You have a goal with a date. The difference between working with a goal and not working with a goal is results. So if you want results, make sure you have a sensible goal written down. Your upline, your active upline will know how to set the goal with you, and he or she will be able to teach you every single step along the way. I always help people start the WhatsApp chats, because this is the only way we can keep an eye on the links. So when you first register, you will automatically be added to a WhatsApp chat, and your referral link will be added in here. And the team, if they have someone to register, so if there's this guy called John, and that was his link, okay, and no, John was actually connected to this link, and then John had his referral link, and then we were able to register Caitlin from the next link. So we're always posting the next link, the next link, the next links. That's how we build deep, okay? But I always set up 2 other chats. So because this team would have been for Jonathan. Jonathan has 3 teams, because we're thinking 3 teams for that pro leader goal. So he's entered in one team, which has already been built. I will start Jonathan's team 2 and Jonathan's team 3. And I even write in what the first instructions, what should be happening, so he knows when he is ready, he knows what to do, okay? Core business habits. Well, the thing is, most of us have had 10 years education, right, to have a job, to keep us employed and a slave to the employer. Well, we have a different type of education and the different habits that we need to develop. They are not difficult. They are not difficult. Everybody on here can do them, but they're also very simple. So it sort of makes them easy to do and easy not to do. It's a fine line whether you decide. For me, I had to be really deliberate. I had to put a paper on the fridge. I had to put a paper in my car, and I physically needed to tick when I was doing them. But you need to treat it like a phone number, because there's only 7 points here. But if you are missing one number from a phone number, what happens? If you dial it and you've got one number missing, you don't get through, right? It just doesn't work. It's the same if you've got a Bitcoin wallet address and you leave one of the letters off. Is the money going to arrive? No. This is the same. So number 1, you need to show your business on a consistent basis. You know, I recommend, you know, try and send out one of my films or one of Annika's films if you're in Sweden. Yeah, send one out per day, so you're not overworked. Okay, everybody can find 2 minutes to send one film to a prospect every single day. That's being consistent. Okay, and then number 2, I've already spoken about this. Follow the system. Connect people to the money working for you system, so you don't have to spend loads of time trying to explain everything to your downlines. If you're a person that says, I don't have the time, you need a system so you can get some time. Okay. Number 3, I always say, don't bother registering people if you're not going to start them correctly. You know, just think about yourself. You know, we're dealing with people's lives here. You know, be serious about it. If you're giving your link to someone else and you don't help them get started, that's not really fair. So we really recommend that you help people correctly get started. Number 4, yeah, we're talking duplication. This is the opposite of a job. You know, when you go to the job, you're working for yourself. When you're building teams, you are duplicating. So you are a team of people working together with one common goal. Okay, one common goal. And when there is a Zoom, just make sure you invite your entire team. You know, 80% of people, they don't turn up to meetings for 2 reasons. First of all, the main reason, or one of the reasons, is because they just can't get off work or they're busy. I understand. But the biggest reason why people don't come to the Zooms is because nobody invited them. All right, invite your team members, because then they can all be here getting educated. Number 5 and number 6 is all about personal development for you. Remember, 10 years education taught you to rent time for money. You need a different type of education here, so you can get active with your goals and everything. So yeah, I recommend 15 minutes a day reading recommended books. It's 12 books a year. It's only 15 minutes a day. It's 12 books a year. It changes how you think. It teaches you to become a real entrepreneur and all the things that you need. Listen to 1 positive audio a day. I recommend more. When I was educated, I used to listen to C audios in my car. It was like a mobile university. I was sort of eating these CDs, and I was just listening instead of listening to music, because music never paid my bills. That paid their bills. So I used to listen to audios that could keep my thinking in the right area. You know, we've all got that little inner voice in our head that every time you've got a bright idea, you know, it never shuts up, does it? It keeps telling you things like you can't do it. It brings out all your insecurities from your past, and it stops you in your track about 4 or 5 seconds after you've had the great idea. When you're listening to positive audios, this little voice just goes quieter and quieter, and you can focus on your dreams. You can focus on your goals. Number 7, be a team player. Okay, we're building teams of people. People need to know whose team you're on. You know, whose team are you on? If you're in Robert's team, you're on Robert's team. If, you know, for example, if you're in Katis' team, you're on Katis' team. And Katis, she's on my team, and I'm on John's team. We're all together with the same sort of goal. So be a team player. We work together to get the right results. I'm not going to go through all of the explanation on this, because we have a film in Money Working For You for this, but I will go through a couple of things. First thing to learn is tempo setter. That means that you register 3 people. Okay, your first 3 people should always go in your first team. Contribute to the team. Why? Because the team are going to put people underneath you as well. We build it together. Okay, because if you put all yours over here and never put anyone in here, that's not fair to the team. So we always put our first 3 people in team 1. And once you've done that, you will also start to learn. This is like your education team. You'll start to learn how we work as a team, and the team will start to grow. And once you're 10 deep, you know, you can start 2 other teams. This is the time when you start your 2 other teams. You've got knowledge, you know how to do it, and you can start to duplicate the same business habits into your second team and into your third team. All right, and your goal is to just keep building down and down and down. Just so you know, the deeper a team, the more stable your business becomes. Who wants a stable business here, right? Or do you want a business that just folds overnight because it just wasn't strong enough? You've got to focus on depth, and the more teams you have is the more profit. Okay, build your teams correctly. I always say focus on 3 teams at a time. And there you go. You know, this would be on the way to pro leader, and that will be a pro leader completed. Okay, but there's something else that happens on this journey, because it's not just about you. We are on a search. We are looking for other key people that are also looking for us, because as we come down, we will find some other people. Notice there's a flame here, because people get excited when things are growing, and all of a sudden they say, hey Jason, hey Robert, hey Katis, hey Annika, and they just say, I want to do what you're doing. I want to do that pro leader thing. And then someone gets in action, and then things start to happen, and we find these people that start to do these core habits. Remember, I said about you posting 1 film a day, that's 30. That person starts posting 30, that's 60, 90, 120, and so on. You get the idea? The core people are the duplication part, not the investors. The investors is great for numbers, it's great for volume, but to get a duplicatable business that starts to grow without you, we need to duplicate, we need to find these core people that are going to duplicate those core business habits. And when that happens, that is the next level, which is executive pro leader. This means that this person here went pro leader, pro leader, pro leader. And then we found one person in each team that went pro leader. You know, this is not rocket science. But if you ask any executive pro leader that's at that level, ask them what amount of money they're earning from AI marketing right now. And also ask them how long it took to put together. Ask those questions directly to your upline and find out these questions, because when you hear the answer, you will get really serious about building these little building blocks. Okay, you get crazy results when you just understand about these little building blocks. All right, so I'm coming to the end of this now. I'm going to pass the microphone back to Katis. And I just hope that you've really got some ideas from here. I was just going to add, you noticed I stopped to think then. There's something I want to handle with you right now, okay? Because AI marketing right now, they said to us that we need to wait with registrations. We need to wait, you know, with transactions just for now until they finish the updates. But don't stop your goal. You can work on your name list. You can work on, you can send that film out. You can get prospects. You can get people to say yes to your business idea. Don't worry about if you can't register them yet, because here's your answer. When someone says to you, say someone says to you tonight, I want to get started, that's fantastic. Well, I tell you what, let me just take your name and your details down. Okay, we've had so many people to register recently. And we work in a team. So I'm going to come back to you as soon as I'm ready. Okay, we are all, and then you can also say we are waiting for some updates to be finished. And the second that everything is all settled, we will come back to you and we will get you started, and we will put you into a team which is being built right now. And all you need to do is just take these people's names and put all the details down, and make sure you contact them the second that AI Marketers puts their thumb up and says, right, now we're ready to rock. Okay, don't waste that time between now and the time when AI marketing is saying, now we can get going. You can keep going, you can stay focused on your goals, and you completely, yeah, just continue to do what you're doing, collecting names, get those guys ready to register. You could collect all of these people here, and we can still see executive pro leaders, brand new pro leaders by the end of this.